Now let's see how to enable the GPU, right? So we need to install deep learning packages, TensorFlow and PyTorch. So TensorFlow is straightforward. So all you have to do is pip install TensorFlow. Whereas PyTorch, this is little tricky. So in generative AI, you may not need PyTorch much, but you need PyTorch in deep learning, right? So to build any deep learning model from scratch, we need PyTorch and TensorFlow packages. PyTorch is a deep learning package. So let's go to PyTorch website, https pytorch.org, or you can just go to Google and type PyTorch, right? So you can see PyTorch is a machine learning library based on the Torch library, used for applications such as computer vision and natural language processing (NLP), originally developed by Meta AI and now part of the Linux Foundation umbrella. Okay, so click on the PyTorch. Now scroll down. So come to this section here, and if you see the versions here, by default PyTorch build, this is stable 2.6.0. So always pick the stable version, and your operating system, mine is Windows, so depending on your operating system you'll have to choose here either Linux or Mac or Windows. And package, by default it is pip, because it is selecting the command as pip install, right? So it selected the package as pip, and the language is Python by default. And compute platform, here you have to be careful. It shows CUDA 11.8, 12.4 and 12.6, and you also have CPU, right? So you have both CUDA and CPU versions, and to install PyTorch you will have to run this command, but you have to make sure you are selecting the right CUDA version. So first of all, what is CUDA here? We have two types of programming. So either you can do CPU programming or GPU programming. So CPU programming is for sequential, that is one after another, right? So certain tasks must be run in sequential only, right? In that case you go for CPU programming. Whereas in GPU programming, you can run the tasks in parallel. So when we use CUDA or parallel programming, you will be able to run the task in parallel, right? So that's why we need both CPU and GPU. Both are important. And GPU is important when it comes to matrix multiplication. Matrix multiplication is a costly operation, right? So this can be done in parallel. So that's why we need GPU programming to speed up the matrix multiplication operation. So if you go to Google and type CUDA, so this is what it is showing, right? So CUDA is a parallel computing platform and programming model developed by NVIDIA that allows developers to harness the power of NVIDIA GPUs for general purpose computing, enabling significant speedups in computationally intensive tasks, right? So for example, matrix multiplication, right? So if you see here, you have several features available inside CUDA, right? The most important thing here is CUDA Toolkit, right? So the NVIDIA provides a toolkit that includes the CUDA compiler, runtime libraries, and other tools for developing and deploying CUDA applications, right? So this is one of the important things that we need to download. We also need cuDNN, right? So this is the NVIDIA CUDA Deep Neural Network Library, that is cuDNN, is a GPU accelerated library of primitives for deep neural networks. So we also need this cuDNN as well. In short, we need CUDA Toolkit and cuDNN, and we also need to install PyTorch, right? So let's come back to this PyTorch, right? So how do we know which CUDA version we have to download, right? So before you download and install CUDA, first you have to come to PyTorch and see which version it supports. So if you notice here, we have 11.8, 12.4 and CUDA 12.6. So you'll have to pick the latest version. So it supports CUDA 12.6. So let's go to CUDA downloads. If you see here, the latest CUDA toolkit version is 12.8, whereas PyTorch supports CUDA 12.6. So this is where most of the programmers will do the mistake. So do not download the latest version of CUDA Toolkit 12.8 because PyTorch supports only CUDA 12.6 version, right? So whatever version we have it in PyTorch, this version should match with what we are downloading with CUDA, right? So the bottom line is we have to make sure we select the same version for both PyTorch and CUDA Toolkit, right? So that is why we are first coming here to the PyTorch website. So we know it supports CUDA 12.6 version. So what you have to do, download 12.6, right? So click on this. And if there is any version mismatch, then you won't be able to enable GPU, right? Then it won't work, correct? So that's why you always have to come to PyTorch first and then see the CUDA latest version, whatever version it supports, and then download the corresponding CUDA Toolkit version, okay? So this is the latest version that it supports here. So that is why we are downloading CUDA Toolkit 12.6, right? So depending on your operating system, you'll have to choose here. So mine is Windows. Architecture is x86-64 and I'm using version 11. And then here you can select exe local. So it will download on your local machine. And make sure you have at least 3 GB of space, right? Because the installation file takes 3 GB space. So click on download. So once you download the file, double click on it. You can leave as is here, the extraction path, right? So click on OK. It is trying to set up CUDA. It will take time, so be patient. It is trying to check the system compatibility. So the installation is not that hard. All we have to do is we just have to follow the prompts. The only thing that we have to make sure is we are matching the CUDA version with what we have in PyTorch, right? Okay, so system check is done and the next step is license agreement. So go ahead and click on agree and continue, and you can leave as express, so that is the recommended installation option. Click next and then check this box. I understand and wish to continue the installation regardless. CUDA Visual Studio integration. No supported version of Visual Studio was found. Some components of the CUDA toolkit will not work properly. It's okay. You can select I understand and click next. So the installation is in progress. Okay. Now click next and you can see NVIDIA installer has finished. So click close. So with this, we are able to download and install CUDA Toolkit version 12.6. So once the installation is done, then go to C drive and program files. Click on NVIDIA GPU Computing Toolkit and you can see CUDA. So click on CUDA and here you can see version 12.6. Click on it. And then if you notice here, we have bin, lib, include, extras. We have different folders available here, right? So with this, we are able to download and install NVIDIA Toolkit, right? And this is not yet complete. We will come back here. And the next step is we need to download cuDNN, right? So let's go back to cuDNN, right? So click on this. Here you have to download cuDNN library. Remember, you don't have to install anything. All you have to do is you have to download this library. So click on download and then select here depending on your operating system. Mine is Windows, so I'm selecting Windows. Architecture x86-64 and version tarball and CUDA version. So which version we have to select here? We have two different versions, CUDA 11 and 12. In PyTorch, which one we selected? CUDA 12.6. That is what we downloaded, CUDA Toolkit 12.6 version. So make sure you select CUDA version as 12 and not 11, right? And then once you select the CUDA version, click on download. So this is a zip file, right? So once you download this zip file, make sure you extract the files from this zip file. This is the extracted cuDNN library. So make sure you extract this one. And then now let's go back to our CUDA toolkit, right? And keep these two side by side. So don't get confused here. So one is our CUDA toolkit and the other one is cuDNN, right? So this is just the library and this one we downloaded and installed, right? Now you have to go to this cuDNN library, and if you notice here we have license, include, lib and bin, right? So now let's go to lib folder and then go to x64 and then copy all these libraries from cuDNN and go to lib folder and x64 and then paste all the libraries from cuDNN. So continue. Okay, so what we did here, we copied the packages from cuDNN library folder to CUDA toolkit. Okay, now go back one step and then here you can notice bin folder, right? Now let's go back to bin folder of cuDNN. Copy all these DLLs from cuDNN bin folder and go to CUDA toolkit bin folder and paste all the DLLs here. Okay, so what we did here, we copied bin and lib from cuDNN to CUDA toolkit. Okay, so that's all you have to do. And once everything is done, then you go to PyTorch, right? So that is the final step to install, right? So what we did here, we downloaded and installed CUDA toolkit and then we downloaded only the library. This is the zip file, right? We unzipped this file and then we copied bin and lib from cuDNN and we pasted inside bin and lib of CUDA toolkit, right? So we have completed step number 1 and step number 2, and then final step is install PyTorch, right? So let's go back to PyTorch. So we downloaded CUDA 12.6 version, right? So make sure you select this version and then copy this command. Now we have to go to Anaconda prompt, right? So from the start menu, go to Anaconda prompt, click on Anaconda prompt and then paste the command from here. Copy this and then paste here inside your Anaconda prompt and hit enter. So that's it. That's how you are able to install PyTorch, right? And there is one other option also. So this is option number 1 to set up everything on your local machine, that is on your local laptop, or you can also use Google Colab, right? So Google Colab, they will provide GPU support. All you need to do is you just have to have a Google account, right? So go to Google Colab. So here you can see Google Colab, right? So click on Google Colab. So if you use Google Colab, we don't have to install anything. We can do it anything directly in Google Colab as well. Because with Google Colab, you will get 16 GB of RAM with GPU support, right? Everything is free here. So all you need is just a Gmail account, right? So either you can download and install everything on your local machine, or you can just simply use Google Colab as well, right? So from here also you can execute the code, right? So you have two options, either download and install everything on your machine, or you can just use Google Colab also. That is option number 2. So that's all about the PyTorch installation and enabling GPU on your machine. All right. Thank you.